A major court ruling in favor of 2311 and Front Row Motorsports. RFK has a pseudo fourth team for 2025, and RWR Racing announces their Clash driver in a great feel-good story. Welcome into the Breaking Bob channel. A lot to get into. Rough hair day, sorry. I had a hat on. It didn't look good on camera, but we'll get through this together. I need a haircut anyway. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. We're always talking NASCAR and racing on a daily basis here at Breaking Bob. And let's jump into it because we've got a lot to catch up on. Yesterday, RWR Racing announced that they will have a new driver in the number 15 car for the NASCAR Clash at Bowman Gray. 53-year-old Tim Brown, a modified driver and also full-time suspension specialist for RWR Racing, will pilot the 15 car in the Clash in February. Now, Brown isn't just any ordinary modified driver, he's the winningest driver at Bowman Gray. 101 wins and 12 track championships, Brown is considered one of the best drivers at Bowman Gray and gets his shot to ride in the Cup Series. Quote, "I've worked my whole life to try to be a Cup driver," Brown said. "I'm good with working on race cars for a living because it's still a pretty cool gig, but I always wanted to try to drive for a living. For Rick Ware and everybody involved here at RWR to give me the chance to go run a Cup race is so humbling and so heartwarming. It's really cool." Really cool indeed, and I hope this gets the coverage it deserves when the Clash rolls around in February. Again, Brown not being just a full-time employee at RWR Racing, but in his spare time, oh, he's just one of the best drivers at one of the most iconic short tracks in the world? Okay, yeah, that makes a perfect storyline there. A lot of companies honor employees with small things, maybe a pizza party. If it's a one-off gift, maybe a watch in the old school days. No, RWR Racing is honoring an employee by saying, hey, we're going to let you drive one of our Cup cars in a NASCAR preseason race. Kudos to RWR Racing, and I can't wait to see Tim Brown on the track with the rest of the NASCAR Cup Series. Let's see if he actually belongs in the field, if he can show the guys how Bowman Gray really runs. Moving on, it was talked about in the summer that there will be a Haas Racing Team technical alliance with RFK Racing moving forward, but it looks like that it might be a little closer than we might previously have thought. As Cole Custer takes the reins of that number 41 Haas factory team, crew chief Aaron Kramer joins him as his crew chief in the first-time role for Kramer. He joins them from RFK Racing, where he was a race engineer, and talked to SiriusXM about the transition, as well as the familiarity about those two teams working together. Quote, "It's probably as well ingrained as far as our visibility into what RFK is doing as you could hope for. Obviously, we're separate buildings with separate people and different tools, different ways of putting cars together, but I have the benefit of knowing how RFK operated for a long time," Kramer said. "I had that experience, but I have not asked for something and been told no yet. It's been explained to us that this is a pseudo fourth car in terms of the support that we're going to get." So yeah, pseudo RFK fourth car. Now, this sounds a lot like the Wood brothers and their technical alliance with Penske. Although really the Wood brothers issue the last few years has been Harrison Burt just hasn't been able to run that car very well. And right before him, Matt DiBenedetto was topsy-turvy. If you look back, though, that Penske alliance with Josh Berry could be promising this year, and it could be the same for Haas factory team. Now, keep in mind, this is basically the bones that have been left over after the Stewart-Haas Racing sale to both Front Row Motorsports and 2311, which we'll get to here in a second, but it's also what's ever left over that the teams haven't picked over between crew chiefs, engineers, every race employee in that shop. This is the leftovers now at Haas factory team, so they will need some technical alliance there from RFK. Let me know your thoughts down below about what you think Cole Custer will look like in that Haas factory team 41. Will you think that RFK alliance matters? And for RFK, do you think they're stretching themselves out a little too thin? They've already added a third chartered car with Ryan Preece, so they'll have 4 cars they're running, or at least responsible for a lot of the data for in 2025. Finally, the major breaking news that we've all been waiting for: 2311 and Front Row Motorsports have been granted a preliminary injunction request by court filings today. A massive, massive win for 2311 and Front Row Motorsports. I won't do the lawyer speak. What it basically means is that they will be able to operate business as usual for the 2025 season. They will be chartered cars, all 3 for both teams. That's right, 3, because this is the sale of Stewart-Haas Racing sales to 2311 and Front Row Motorsports, for that third car for Riley Herbst, and apparently Zane Smith in Front Row Motorsports, as Bob Pockers kind of snuck in there today. So there you have it. Zane Smith has been waiting for this domino to fall along with Riley Herbst all along. NASCAR can appeal this ruling, but it has not confirmed whether they will or not, because of course, in the court rulings, we must appeal every little detail possible. This is a major, major win for both teams. Like Denny Hamlin tweeted in all caps, yes, this is massive for both teams. Yes, they have their place. They will be entered in every race. They're safe. They won't miss any races. They won't lose any sponsors, any drivers. But they have the now basically blanket that, okay, we're safe for 2025. And now as this legal process goes on with NASCAR, because this is going to be a year-long process, I have a feeling, they're going to be able to play with house money. They're going to be able to challenge NASCAR while being safe under the charter agreement for 2025. Now, for this court case between NASCAR and the two teams, the judge actually changed to a different judge last week, although no reason was given. But in the release today, the judge noted, as far as irreparable harm, quote, absent entry of a preliminary injunction December 18th, 2024, Tyler Reddick will become a free agent. And whether or not it has a firm plan to leave 2311, other teams will have the present ability to contract for his services. December 18th, it looks like the teams called the judge's bluff, saying if we don't have the injunction agreement by now, our drivers will become free agents. Our sponsors could leave. All heck could come loose for 2311 at FRM. They could be sponsorless, driverless cars in 2025. Now, is that likely? Probably not. But in a legal world where they have no blanket of safety, you have to say, well, that could happen. And I guess the judge agreed, and this is why this preliminary injunction has been agreed upon among multiple reasons. But regardless, massive, massive win for both these teams as they move forward in this fight against NASCAR in an unprecedented legal battle that is going to transcend NASCAR forever as we know it. Let me know your thoughts today about the newest filing in the court case between NASCAR and 2311 and Front Row. Again, subscribe to the channel, like this video, it helps me out a ton. I will try and declutter the mess that is this legal filing between NASCAR and these teams, along with the rest of the offseason that never seems to slow down here in NASCAR and the motorsports world. If you're new here, like I said, make sure you're subscribed. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more.